this is a moment. This is it. Manchester City are champions. Arsenal lost to Nottingham Forest 1-0. 2 wins out of the last 8. I did not see that coming. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought Man City would close this in the end, but I thought Arsenal would take them to the last day, at least the last week. I thought they'd make it difficult for them. But now we're seeing a situation where Arsenal could finish 10 points behind, losing at the City ground 1-0. And it's a terrible way to kind of end the season. But you have to say congratulations to Manchester City, who are still on course for 90 plus points, 94 points, I believe. And now a guard of honor tomorrow, I believe, at the Etihad. The trophy will be there. They'll be able to lift it in their last home game. Of course, they play Brentford and Brighton away in the last couple of games of the season. That's not going to be very fun for me. I'm not going to lie. As much as I'm a little bit smuck, I can also understand quite quickly that it's going to be quite a sad day for us tomorrow as well, having to watch them lift the trophy in front of us, do a guard of honor. But it's what we deserve. It's what they deserve. And it's what Arsenal caused in the end. I mean, I'm surprised, the capitulation, but it all started with that Southampton game, didn't it? So it's surprising. But Manchester City have been brilliant this season. You have to give it to them. And mid-season as well, let's be real, in January, they weren't playing their best football. They were looking like they were having a struggle. There was a couple of little, questions and queries in the team in terms of unsettled players. Cancelo obviously had to leave. Bernardo Silva's always constantly being linked with moves away. And it was looking like a Man City team that we didn't recognize, at least wasn't playing at its best. That's how Arsenal pulled out that 7-point, 8-point lead in the first place. And that Manchester City team, they weren't purring like they are now. They were struggling. I remember it. I remember watching games and thinking, I'm not convinced. They're dropping points. They're not looking great. And Arsenal are winning and winning and winning. And next thing you know, those UEFA, allegations come out. And next thing you know, their backs are up against the wall. Pep is now in his moment where you say, is he going to back the club? Is he going to say that Manchester City, regardless of what's going on outside of the pitch, he's there for the long haul, which he said? Is he going to create that kind of us against them mentality, something that Jose Mourinho would have done way back when in the Premier League when he first came in and won it twice in a row. And that's what Pep did. And he got the fans Pep was going at the fans a little bit. He was saying, listen, it's a bit too quiet in here. I need to hear some noise. He was going at the players. I think there's a quote saying that he doesn't recognize this team. That wasn't long ago. But that moment where they all galvanized, came together, united as a club and kind of started moving in the same direction and making that noise. And then suddenly the blue shark is in the water, as Steve says, and Hugh and Daps and all the City fans, listen, this is your day. The blue shark is in the water and it can see some blood. And Arsenal is that blood. Arsenal is that red blood. And now, next thing you know, Man City go on a crazy, crazy winning run. Pep manages to find his perfect kind of system. Ake playing on that left side centre-back spot before injury. Akanji playing on the right-hand side before moving to the left and Walker coming in. Diaz coming back from injury. Stones moving into midfield. Rico Lewis was tucking into midfield as well earlier on in the season. It's an incredible feat. And we talk about this Man City team in terms of how much money they've spent. Yes, they've spent money over the years, but recently, Akanji signing him 15 million, I think, from Dortmund. No one had really given this guy much of a chance in terms of, being a big part of this team. And he's managed to come and be he's become a starter for them. Ake at Bournemouth, this guy's basically now turned into one of the best defenders in the league this season. You look at Alvarez from River Plate, only 15 million. Big impact off the bench against Real Madrid, getting a goal. Couple academy products in Palmer and Foden as well. It's a team that, we talk about the money spent. Yes, of course, they've spent a lot of money. Yes, they have put together the fantastic team that they have. And they don't have a huge group of players, but they've got quality and depth. But the one man that makes this tick, the one man that makes this team way apart from the rest and is able to overturn a deficit where, let's be honest, Arsenal were leading this title race, leading this league for 93% of the season, a record set by themselves. There was a point where we had to say Arsenal were favourites. We had no choice as a community, as a people, as a supporting cast in football. We had to say that Arsenal were favourites because it was true. Arsenal had put up such a lead in January. They were so good. They were the best team in the league. They were playing great football. We had to say that they were favourites. And we can't rewrite history. We can't try and rewrite the season. In January, Arsenal had only dropped 4 points. They had lost against Manchester United at Old Trafford. They'd drawn away at Southampton. They'd only dropped 4 points. They were almost perfect. And at Old Trafford, we remember saying they played very well that day, and they just got hit on the transition, hit on the break. So let's not pretend like this Arsenal team weren't the best team up until after Christmas, after the World Cup. But Manchester City, this is what they do. Back into the season, they go on these runs, they galvanized, and they found their feet. And then the Kevin De Bruyne's turn up, and Haaland is now, breaking records. And we're seeing Grealish. I mean, Grealish this season. This has been a massive turnaround from a player that was basically called a flop, of course, last season. Now he's gone from that to leading in chances created in a single Champions League campaign for an English player. We're seeing Bernardo Silva stepping up to the plate with a couple of goals, Gundogan getting goals. It's ridiculous. And Arsenal, I mean, listen, Arsenal, this is their first rodeo. They fell off the horse. The pressure hit them in the end. I think Arsenal fans will maybe be very disappointed with the way that the season has come to an end. You would have wanted to at least push City all the way to the last day, at least the last week. Brighton away, Brentford away. We've seen Brentford go and beat Tottenham today 3-1. We've seen Brighton pull off big results, obviously one at the Emirates last week. You would have at least wanted to at least say, you know what? It's probably going to go to City, but at least make them work for it. At least make them win the rest of their games. Now, Man City go into tomorrow against Chelsea. They'll get their guard of honor. They'll beat Chelsea. Let me make that clear. But they don't have to try. They get to put out, rotated teams in the last 3 fixtures. And that's not what Liverpool did. That's not pushing them all the way, taking them to the last 20 minutes against Aston Villa, making them come from behind on the last day and sweat. That's not what Liverpool did. Arsenal have gone from, really pushing City and making this at least a sweat for me, for rival fans, for expressions, for all of the people that were stressed about Arsenal. We're not stressed. We're not stressed now because you haven't even made it into a dogfight at the end of the season. It's something that we can say is wrapped up, is done with 3 games to spare. It's almost, if you guys keep losing, we have to look at how many points Ollie accumulated at Man United when they finished second. I'm joking. But seriously though, you guys, it's a crazy way to end it. It's a crazy way to end it. And I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. I'll be very honest. I didn't expect this Arsenal team to crumble like this. I thought, that you'd lose maybe a couple of games here and there, but to go on this run of 2 wins in the last 8 is crazy. But like I said, you have to give it to City. They keep doing it every single season. They keep replenishing the squad. They keep bringing in a couple of new faces here, whether it's Haaland, Phillips, Alvarez. They obviously sold a lot of youngsters last summer. They're starting to really settle themselves down now and not, break, transfer records. That's us. You know what I mean? They're actually, when you look at their net spend now in the last couple of years, they're calming down. They've got their youth academy. They've got their training facilities. They've got players coming through. They're winning in the leagues below. And it's looking like a long day. And as long as Pep stays here in this country, we will all have to fight for the trophies he leaves behind. How ironic is it that Man City could have maybe gone for a quadruple if Southampton didn't knock them out of the cup at the St. Mary's? That is the team that knocked them out. The team that are bottom of the league, that are going down, are the only team that have actually effectively stopped Man City this season from doing something unthinkable. But they're about to potentially do a treble. Arsenal fans, listen, I'm not going to say condolences. What I'm going to say is welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's good. And is London red? Well, I'll leave that to you in the comments. For me, London can only change colour when major trophies have been won to really kind of put the knife in the back. But challenging, unfortunately, leaves you with no medals. It will be interesting to see if Arsenal kick on next season with the summer. We'll see what the signings are saying. If you're pushing, obviously Xhaka's leaving. But was this the best opportunity missed? Who knows? It's going to be an interesting one. But Man City, well done to you. Try not to absolutely rip my team to shreds tomorrow. I would much appreciate it. And yeah, let's see if they can do the treble. FA Cup final and Champions League final to come. Guys, make sure you smash up the likes. Make sure you subscribe. Big up your damn selves. Make sure you leave comments down below as well. In a bit, people. Peace.